Hey guys, I'm here to review Annabelle Creation, which is the latest prequel in the Conjuring franchise. It is a prequel to both Annabelle and The Conjuring 2, and it also has an Easter egg that, of course, leads into The Nun, which is a spin off about the evil entity in The Conjuring 2. So, there you go for the timeline. So, Annabelle Creation is a horror movie, and so some people give that kind of film a bad rap, but I enjoy them when they're well done, if they're suspenseful, if the characters are developed well enough that you care about them. To me, it's like an action movie or a comedy movie. You just have to do it right for it to work, as long as it's not over the top and like they don't even try and not just follow in the formula without giving you what you came for, which is, of course, scares. So, Annabelle Creation does deliver the scares for sure. I believe that David F. Sandberg, the director of this movie and Lights Out as well, he did a great job at establishing an oppressive atmosphere. It's not like as oppressive as the atmosphere in The Witch, where there's no hope in the world for anybody, but it's oppressive enough that you feel like they're always in danger in some way, or that you know that something's going to happen, but you don't know quite how it all ties together at that moment. So there's suspense throughout this film. The setting is interesting. It's very well utilized, and there's parts of it where you go, oh yeah, that's going to be something later, and it is. But they did a good job of planting the seeds for the biggest scares and for playing on your expectations by making you think that one thing's going to happen right now, but it doesn't happen then, but it happens later. And the way they do it is all the big build up is paid off really well, and all the big scary scenes are very good. There's so many scares. I feel like it felt like as if James Wan directed it himself to a point. It was a very well directed movie, and I feel as a horror film it delivers. Now, as for the characters, which is very important because Annabelle, the first prequel in the Conjuring franchise, was horrible, and the characters were so boring and bland and just the worst possible kind of characters to make the main characters in that film. But the ones in this film, the side characters are not great, but they're passable. And the two parents who lost their little girl at the beginning, they could have done more with them, but at the same time, they work in the context they're used, and they're interesting in the way they're used, and they work for the film as a whole. So I give them credit for that. I do think they could have played it up a little bit more with their dramatic aspects that they could have brought to the film. But I did care about them. I did care about the little girl at the beginning to a point, and I cared about the two little girls who are the main characters who struggle because they're both friends and they both want to be adopted together. But of course, one starts to be haunted by this entity through the doll of Annabelle and so on. So that means that drives a wedge between them. But these two girls, their friendship is strong, and they really do connect in a way that's believable, and they have strong chemistry. The actresses do, and the actresses were both very good, gave believable performances, had some funny one-liners. One of the funniest parts of the movie, a little girl does something really dumb, and then someone says, "What was that?" or "Who was that?" or something, and she's like, "Who cares? Run!" And it's just so self-aware at that moment that I loved it. And so I feel like the characters and the horror aspect of this film deliver. Now, where this film falls short is really in the logic and the plot to a point. Because so you set up this believable atmosphere where all these girls are staying at the same house with the parents who've lost their little girl. And there's a little girl who gets attacked by the thing that is with Annabelle, the evil demon. And so she gets attacked, and she screams her lungs out, like so loud, and no one responds. Now you can say, well, maybe the demon's doing something to make them not hear to other people, but then other times in the film, people hear them screaming even when the demon's coming after them. So that doesn't make sense, and not to mention the fact that the demon does something to the little girl that's very loud, and I'm not going to say why because it's a spoiler, but it's like very loud, and it should have woken up everyone in the house, but it doesn't. And then they also gloss over the fact that this one character, and I can't tell you who because it's a big spoiler, dies, and they still stay in the house the next night. And it's like, that would not happen, and how did they gloss over that fast? It was smart as from filmmaking perspective to gloss over that, to keep it in that setting and not have to go somewhere else. I get that, but it was kind of lazy too. But so there's some plot holes and there's some lazy logic, but as a whole, it delivers as a horror film, and it does enrich the universe that The Conjuring started. And I feel like it made me excited for The Nun and for The Crooked Man. And I'm interested to see what they do with The Conjuring 3. If they did another Annabelle movie with the same director, I'd be very interested to see it. But I hope that they spend more time on the script and they just make it a little tighter, make it a little bit less logic challenged. But so as a whole, I'm gonna give Annabelle Creation a 3.5 out of 5. I think it's worth seeing if you love horror movies, and I think it's worth watching. And I'd probably buy it for $5 at Walmart when it's available. I won't buy it on Blu-ray or anything, but it was a very entertaining movie, and it even made me more interested in watching the first Annabelle again, even though I hate the first Annabelle. So that says something. And if you enjoy horror movies, I think you'll like it. If not, I want to go see it. But just let me know what you guys thought of this review, and let me know if you want to see more reviews like this. Hope you enjoyed, guys. Just let me know what you think below.